Hello my dear friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joycey Joy and today in this lecture we will discuss about the UN World Happiness Report of 2019. So recently the UN World Happiness Report for 2019 was released and it was released by Sustainable Development Solutions Network at the United Nations. So we will discuss about the highlights of this report in detail in this lecture. But before that, let us first briefly understand what is Sustainable Development Solution Network. Sustainable Development Solutions Network has been operating since 2012 under the UN Secretary General, and the Sustainable Development Solutions Network mobilizes global scientific and technological expertise to promote practical solutions for sustainable development. So it brings in practical solutions for the improvement of sustainable development, and this includes the implementation of the SDGs and Paris Climate Agreement. So Sustainable Development Goals plus Paris Climate Agreement implementation is also the role of Sustainable Development Solution Network. So this is under the UN Secretary General. So these are the important facts about Sustainable Development Solution Network. Now we will move on to the UN World Happiness Report of 2019 and the highlights of the report. But before that, this is our channel StudyIQ and we are providing pen drive courses for various competitive examinations including SSC and bank courses, UPSC optionals, SSC JEE courses, teaching examination, railway examination, defense examination, RBI grade B, NABARD grade A, UGC NET, UPSC Civil Services Examination, CLAT exams for various state PSCs and also for various professional courses. You can visit our website www.studyiq.com or you can call to any of these numbers for more information. Now let us come to the highlights of the report. The United Nations World Happiness Report ranks 156 countries on the basis of how happy their citizens are. So this is calculated on the basis of the happiness of their citizens in those countries. And how it is calculated, a sample of the individuals from each country is selected. So not on the entire population but a sample of individuals from each country is selected and their happiness is measured on a score of 1 to 10. And the variation in country scores is then attempted to be explained scientifically with some variables. So there are 6 variables. The first one is GDP per capita. Second one is social support. Third one is healthy life expectancy. Fourth one is freedom to make life choices. Fifth is generosity. And sixth one is freedom from corruption. So these are the 6 variables. Now GDP per capita means GDP is the monetary value of all the final goods and services produced in an economy within a financial year. It measures the economic growth of a country. So GDP divided by population will give you GDP per capita. So that is the first parameter. Second one is social support provided by the respective governments. Third one is healthy life expectancy, which includes quality of medical care, accessibility of medical care, etc. Next is liberty, or what we can call as freedom to make life choices. So here liberty of an individual is calculated. Next is generosity and last one is freedom from corruption. These are the 6 variables. And this report has been released by the SDSN, as we have discussed. It is Sustainable Development Solution Networks at the United Nations, and it is published ahead of the International Day of Happiness, and the International Day of Happiness is on March 20th. So this is the report. Now moving on to the highlights of the report. Finland was the happiest nation. So the rank 1 goes to Finland, followed by Denmark. Next is Norway. Next one is Iceland, and next is Netherlands. So if we observe, these are all Scandinavian countries, and I have mentioned in a previous lecture that most of these indicators, for example happiness indicator or quality of life indicator, etc., the Scandinavian countries perform better than other countries. And the next 5 in the top 10 are Switzerland, Sweden, New Zealand, Canada, Australia, etc. The rank of US is 19th, and the last rank, that is the least happy nation, with a rank of 156 is South Sudan. So these are the highlights of the report. Now coming to the status of India. India has emerged as one of the unhappiest countries on the earth according to the happiness report, because the rank of India is 140 out of 156 countries. So we are almost in the bottom of the list. We can say that we are in the bottom 10 of all the countries. Now coming to various parameters. The first parameter, corruption. India is at 50% rank for corruption, and at the bottom 58% for generosity. And per capita GDP of the country is at bottom 25%. And in case of freedom to make choices or liberty, we are in the top 27%. And in global terms, India's unhappiness is considerably worse in the ranking than other countries in the South Asian region and other countries like China, South Africa, and it is even worse than Latin America. India comes out at the bottom in South Asia in the 2019 report. And most importantly, there has been a steady deterioration in the India's happiness scores in the recent years. And if we consider the happiness score over 2015 to 2019, India's score deteriorated the most in the South Asian region. Now let us discuss a mains model question. The question is, the UN World Happiness Report was published recently. India's score was in the bottom 10%. Critically examine the factors behind the underperformance and what are the policy changes that are needed to improve the performance. So this is the question, and you have to write a mains answer for this. So I'll give you a brief outline for this question, and please try to attempt writing this answer. And please send me your answers to joycey.studyiq@gmail.com. So I'll give you a brief outline. You can begin with an introduction, and the introduction part you can mention about what is UN World Happiness Report and who publishes it and what is this report all about. You can write this in 2 to 3 sentences. So this should be your introduction. Now coming to the second part, that is India's score. So in the second paragraph, you can mention about India's performance, and you can mention about the rank of India and what are the parameters where India has performed worse and good. So what are the parameters and what are the performance of India on various parameters, and you can also here compare the performance of India with that of other countries, especially in the South Asian region, China, US, etc. So this should be your second paragraph. Now in the third paragraph, you can write about the factors behind the underperformance of India. In the second paragraph, you mentioned about various parameters and the performance of India. Here you should highlight what are the factors that led to underperformance. This should not only include those parameters where India has performed worse, but also the factors leading to underperformance in this parameters. For example, healthy life expectancy. This is a parameter, and if India has performed worse in this parameter, you should mention what are the factors. For example, accessibility of healthcare, quality of healthcare, infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate. So these should include not only parameters but various factors that has led to the underperformance of a particular parameter. So this should be your third paragraph, and fourth paragraph should be what are the policy changes required in order to improve the performance of India. And here you can also conclude by putting in your suggestions or various committee suggestions, various recommendations of various committees, etc. So this can be the structure of your answer. Please everyone try to attempt this question, and please send me your answers to joycey.studyiq@gmail.com. You can follow my Facebook page for more video updates, and please write to me at joycey.studyiq@gmail.com for any of your queries or clarifications. Thank you. Hello my dear friends, and welcome to StudyIQ.